Welcome back. Hope you're having a good morning. As promised, we have Dipan Mehta, Director at Elixir Equities, who joins in on the show. Hi, Dipan. Good morning. Good to see you in, and glad to see you're not taking a flight. Going by what the visuals that are coming in there. Let's address that stock first. InterGlobe Aviation, been the leader, gain market share. If I look at the last 1 year, I think from 62% to 65%. I'm going by a Jeffries note. But now there's a near-term headwind that's taking place. What do you do with the stock? It's not cheap, but it's the leader.
Yeah, good morning and thank you for having me on your show. Yes, thankfully, I think that tough times for people taking flights and planning their holidays or whatever, and really reach out to them because I know what it is for the flight to get cancelled. But look, first of all, as a disclosure, we're investors in InterGlobe Aviation, our clients as well, in a model portfolio as well. And I think this is a temporary blip. And if investors do not have shares of Indigo, this is a good opportunity to get into the stock if there's a steeper correction. It's trading about 10% below its all-time high. Another 10% correction would give some amount of margin of safety, and they'll work around these problems. And eventually, I think it's a nice, steady, secular, fundamentally strong, growing company. And industry also dynamics are very good, structurally low cost as well. So very positive on the long-term prospects. And such temporary negative news flow are great opportunities to increase exposure.
Dipan, the morning markets gone dead, literally, right? I mean, sideways, lack of any enthusiasm. Of course, I mean, there are single stocks here and there, but broadly, broader markets especially are hurting. What do you make of it?
Good morning, Prashant. I have no complaints. I think this quiet period, this mild correction is a great time for investors sitting on the fence and investors sitting in cash, looking at increasing their exposure. This is the perfect time to, look at.
Dipan, but majority are already in it. Who's sitting on cash? Nobody. At least we speak to, fully invested. So, I mean, if you created cash, great. But yeah, sorry, go on.
No, but Prashant, you could always look at some of the slower growing large cap stocks, exit out of them and get into a lot of the mid cap, small cap stocks. I know that the mid cap, small cap index has been underperforming, but that can't last for long. And you have a lot of large cap stocks, where growth rates are kind of fizzling out. And you could do that transition and increase exposure to small mid cap stocks because once the earnings start to move up over there, there's no going back over there. And also, I think that, intuitively, I do feel that investors can always allocate more from other savings into equities. But these times, these quiet periods, these mild corrections are great. And it forms the foundation for the Sensex, Nifty, and the mid-cap indices to start the next journey on this multi-year bull market. So it's just, I think, some positive triggers required, and we'll be out of this kind of stagnating phase.
This is so refreshing, Dipan. I think you're the most optimistic and positive voice I've heard at least this week. I can officially endorse that. It's good, right? It's good to keep that perspective intact. Now give us some names. If someone wants to get out of dud stocks and look at something more interesting in mid caps, give us some ideas.
So we are doing a lot of bottom-up, research, and typically, again, when we talk about names, have to keep on giving disclosures that we may or may not have, may be invested in these stocks. So let's look at travel. Okay, now we give this idea about Indigo. I think if it corrects the other 5-10% is a great opportunity. But within the travel space, there are companies which are having quite different business models. Like we're very positive on Yatra Online, which is like a online travel agency. And then there is BLS International, which does visa processing. Then another sector we are positive on is insurance. And over there, you got companies like MediAssist and Sagility, which of course, Sagility does claims processing for US customers, and MediAssist is for Indian customers. And there's of course Policy Bazaar, which is one of the largest insurance agents. And they, I think it's a great platform company about to go solid into profit in the next 2-3 years or so. And like that down the line, I think there are a lot of stocks which have a slightly differentiated business model. Within the fintech space, we like Zaggle Prepaid, also exceptionally good numbers over there. So like that, I think companies which have got a slightly different business model and one of the kind, I think those should certainly be considered. In the CapEx space, I think all these solar equipment manufacturing companies, they are having great dynamics, right from Vari to a whole host of new listings. And then there is also the wind turbine manufacturers, both Suzlon and Inox Wind, which we are positive on.
Deepan,
Coming up.
Deepan, since you mentioned Fintech and you singled out Zaggle, I just wonder if you've had a look at Pine Labs. They came out with their numbers also yesterday. What do you think?
No, I think that it's still a company which is yet to come into solid profitability, but it's a great compounding story. And the way I look at these companies is that what happens if these companies double their turnover in 3 or 4 years, which is what it seems to be happening over there, and their costs remain steady, and you could have these companies going into solid profitability. So basically, it's a tech company, and it's got a great, I think, competitive edge as well, and it's got a potential to grow overseas as well. So it's on our watch list. And I think, a quarter or two will come when you know that now, okay, this is poised to take off and go into solid profitability. That may be a good entry point. So I always keep a watch on these companies, maybe not investing in them right now, but trying to see if the business model is evolving into a phase where they'll now go into solid profitability.
Dipan, shorter chat today, had a bunch of other questions, but I guess we'll pick it up on some of these later. Appreciate you joining us here this morning as well.